Hey everybody, it's Edwin. I'm very sorry for the long wait in content. I just really wanted to make sure that I was taking my time with this project. Hope you all have been safe, cozy, and well. Now, I'm no active user on Reddit, but since I was playing a bunch of Parappa the Rappa 2 before this project on my PS4, I decided to look up some icebergs having to do with the NanaOn-Sha games. And I was genuinely surprised how many there were, so I decided to choose this specific one because it captured a lot of the interesting topics I don't think many people are familiar with. To put these beautiful rhythm games in the spotlight would be my absolute honor. I downright love these games and I grew up with them in a way that I want y'all to know how neat and compelling these games truly are behind the scenes. Researching for nearly a few months, you can really get lost in hours and hours of content just going through the website portals and Rodney's countless ideas and website domains, and it is absolute insanity. So before we start, I would love to give a big shout out to the creator of the Iceberg, Tamatou. We actually got in touch through Discord and he helped me out through a ton of the things that I was initially confused about. And he made sure to step me through every topic he was referring to, and he did an awesome job at helping. Also, he told me that he's an indie wrestler as well. So if you're interested in that kind of content, I put his channel link on the top of the description so you can go ahead and support my boy in all of his future endeavors. So anyways, let's go ahead and start at the tippity top, shall we? Upon Lammy's release on the PlayStation 1 in 1999, Japan in March, North America in August, and Europe in September, there were a lot of pieces of media that NanaOn-Sha had planned. The said GameSpot Lammy trailer contained pieces of the developmental and demo stages and sprites, including Lammy's sprite not flashing in the Teriyaki Yoko stage, and some color changes and background swaps to the stages or characters. Adding to what Tamatou, the creator of the Iceberg, told me, by the GameSpot Lammy trailer, they meant the Got to Move Millennium Girl music video. When Lammy released in 1999, later that year, there was a very low-quality upload of the music video, which was supposedly the only one that you can access for years. On YouTube in 2016, the user Roro uploaded a high-quality version of it, apparently coming from Matsura himself. I could be wrong about this, but it is what I've been told and what I found. Releasing in June of 1999, Make It Sweet by Milk Can was an album made by the virtual band Milk Can, who are prominently featured in the Lammy video game. It included the three band members, Katy Cat on bass, Lammy on guitar, and Moss on drums. The songs included original songs from the game with interfering lyrics from Katy Cat, singing with the Masters, and some original songs as well. In the album, the only person who really sings or speaks are the Masters in the game and Katy Cat, who is voiced by Michelle Burks, who has apparently passed away in early 2016. Rock on in the heavens, Katy Cat. Rest in peace. Much like the Milk Can Make It Sweet album, there was another album that came out featuring Parappa and PJ Barry from the Parappa and Lammy games called Ice Cream. It was released in September of 1999, with the songs being of the Parappa solo remixes of the Lammy stage songs featuring Katy Cat and Parappa, with the lyrics including self-awareness of the Lammy and Parappa games. It's a very corny promotional sort of album. When you beat every stage in Parappa the Rappa 1 on cool mode on normal difficulty, you unlock a special feature called KT in the Sunny Funny Band. This extra shows Katy Cat and Sunny Funny on a small stage surrounded in people dancing to an extra song they included in the game. Other than being able to change their clothes, there's nothing else to do in this mode. In Stage 5 of Lammy, Paul Chuck in the Japanese version can be heard saying, "Walking to the beat of the sun, chopping cheese down for the fun." Specifically in the Lammy version. In the North American release, it was changed to, "Walking to the beat of the sun, knowing that we're here for fun." And in the Parappa version of the Lammy stage, the lyric, "Ain't the sun having fun in the sun? I love chopping down trees, just for fun," is replaced in the North American release with, "Ain't the sun having fun in the sun? I love rocking to the beat, just for fun," with other lyrics being replaced having to do with deforestation. These lyrics were replaced with more subtle and fun lines for children, telling the children playing to not cut down trees for fun. In the Japanese release of Lammy, on Stage 6 there is a character named Teriyaki Yoko, who sings the lyrics, having to do with the religious aspects of her devil lyrics. They didn't want any controversy having to do with devilish lyrics. These lyrics were replaced in the North American release with, Although confusing and cheesy replacement lyrics, it didn't make much sense from the start. In the cutscenes between stages 5 and 6 in Lammy, there's two separate versions of what goes on between the Japanese release and the North American release. In Japan, Lammy runs out of the guitar shop and slips on a banana peel and dies. She goes to hell and then the credits start to roll. One of the stagehands for the 6th stage comes out and grabs Lammy and stops the credits. Becoming the guitarist for Teriyaki Yoko's performance, she agrees to Lammy that she would bring her back to life if she plays the song correctly. In the North American release, Lammy's waistband catches the guitar shop's doorknob and she gets launched onto an exotic island where Teriyaki Yoko is performing. The same guy comes out to get her for Yoko's performance, and Yoko promises to help Lammy to get back where she came from if she plays the song correctly. They most likely cut out that part of the North American release due to the possible religion controversy that could spread. The Japanese guitar manufacturer Fernandez Guitars exclusively made guitars that were NanaOn-Sha based upon the release of Lammy. It consisted of 4 different guitars, one with the characters of the Parappa games, one I Gotta Believe Parappa guitar, one Milk Can Lammy guitar, and a guitar styled like Lammy's in the Lammy video game. You could find them scattered across eBay asking for prices between $1,000 to $1,500. In the same year of 2001, when Parappa the Rapper 2 was released on the PlayStation 2, McDonald's gave away promotional Parappa the Rapper 2 and Ape Escape demo discs away selectively with the purchases of Happy Meals. Within the demo disc was Stage 1 of Parappa 2, Toasty Buns, but with slight graphical sprite changes replacing the Beard Burger banners with McDonald's ones. The meters at the bottom are brighter, and the Colonel Noodle sprite is different, with a different mood, outfit, and is seen without the noodleizer. Also, a few of the sounds are different as well. Within the files of the finalized game, you can get 2 distinct sounds whenever you succeed a line, or fail a line. But in the McDonald's demo disc, those 2 sounds were replaced with these. I'm guessing sometime in 2000, since what I found was a blog post from somebody visiting this location on July 2nd, 2001, and the official Cafe Rodney page on rodneyfun.com. Cafe Rodney was built in Tokyo, Japan. This little quaint cafe area was created by the visual designer extraordinaire Rodney Greenblatt. Also get used to that name because there's a lot more to cover on him. From what I've found, inside the premises contained lots of his art on normal items around the cafe, such as glasses, chairs, PJ Barry inside of the restaurant, and Rodney's art all over the establishment and walls. Quoting blog.gregman.com, like most of Tokyo cafes, they have a pretty small menu. A few drinks, a few desserts, and a few light lunch dishes. During the production of this video, I actually sent Rodney Greenblatt an email asking him when the establishment closed. According to him, the Cafe Rodney establishment in Tokyo, Japan closed in 2001, and the Rodney shop, another shop that he owned, closed in 2020. Currently, he has another shop open called Catskill Zen Circle, a Zen meditation space in the town of Catskill where he lives. And also, definitely a big special thanks to Rodney Greenblatt for actually replying to my email. In the Lammy video game, there's a mode that you can access called Fever Mode. With the help of Tamatou, I actually got to understand how Fever Mode works. Technically, Fever Mode is whenever you input any line of buttons prompted in the loading screen. Also, it might be true if you press select in the Euro version, you can view the Fever buttons. There are 6 different prompted lines that you can input, those being: first line, green background with the triangle button; second line, red background with the circle; third, blue background with the cross; fourth line, pink background with the square; 5th, the yellow background with L1, and 6th line, dark blue background with R1. When you enter Fever Mode, if you press the corresponding buttons to the type of Fever Mode background that you're in, it gives you incredible amounts of points. Activation Fever, which lasts for over 3 lines, will start to run out, which you could prolong if you enter the same line over and over again, which sadly won't add additional colors. So to extend Fever Mode with other backgrounds, you can enter another one of the 6 lines stated earlier, which makes it so then you have all 6 colors on screen all at once, called a Rainbow Fever, as coined from Tamatou's video on YouTube. Although, having all colors on a screen doesn't amount you having 6 times the amount of points. In April 2000, Rodney Greenblatt released the Rodney Fun Comic Collection Volume 1, published under Littlemore/Interlink Planning. It consists of 5 comic books: PJ's Dreamland, Sunny Funny's Polite Garden Party, Katie's Shopping Explosion, Parappa Gets a Job, and Square E-Bear in the Wheel. Since Square E-Bear isn't a Parappa or Lammy character, we're not going to cover his story. First, we're going to start off with PJ's Dreamland. It shows his life as a club DJ, waking up at noon, eating, listening to music, DJing, and going back to bed. In his dreams, he sees himself as Parappa's a king, and he's in his ideal perfect society, including free unlimited food, big cheap apartments, and many more things. But then one day, Sunny Funny brings over a big pot of vegetarian stew, and PJ eats all of it and passes out. When he enters his dreams this time, bunches of problems were happening like sickness and war, and he gets thrown into a pit by an army, and he wakes up and dumps the rest of the stew out. Later that night, he sees Parappa and Sunny at the club, and he seems ticked off. I guess the moral of the story was don't overeat or don't trust vegetarian food. The second comic is Sunny Funny's Polite Garden Party. The comic starts with Sunny Funny waking up and gardening, and it seems that every animal and even the plants respect and love her because of her kindness. There are a few accidents along the way, but even when things get rough, it shows that everything is proceeded with a good heart. Next, she goes to Mr. Buttonnose's shop to gather ingredients for her garden party, which seems to consist of 1 box of raisins, 1 can of clams, 1 bunch of bananas, 1 jar of jelly, 1 jug of fish oil, 1 bag of mushrooms, 1 jug of vinegar, 2 sacks of rice, and 1 stick of dynamite. She then proceeds to not pay for any of these things that she took from the store because she paid them with kindness and says that she'll pay next time. Then when she gets home, she starts putting together the recipe, substituting every known ingredient with the things that she bought, making a huge group of meals for the party. She calls up Katie, Parappa, PJ, and Chop Chop Master Onion. Katie cancels almost all of her plans, Parappa wants to impress her and purchases new sneakers, PJ agrees to come because of all the free food, and Chop Chop Master Onion declines the request because he needs to go to a martial arts expo in Las Vegas. She feeds all of them her food, where Katie likes it and talks a bunch, PJ stuffs his face, and Parappa is feeding all the food to animals under the table, being very criticizing of all the people at the party. The grand finale is her flaming dynamite strawberry onion cake, where she sets fire to it and nearly kills all of them at the party. They thank her for inviting them and for the food, and it ends with the theme of the 2 animals laying on the ground earlier in the comic, stuffed with Parappa's food, thanking her for her assistance. What I gathered from the story is the moral is don't trust Sunny Funny because she'll roll you over with pumpkins, ignite dynamite in your face, and then she'll get you eaten by a huge kraken in the middle of the lake. The third comic is Katie Cat's Shopping Explosion, where this story shows that life doesn't always go according to plan. She wakes up late and finds out that her alarm clock is broken. She pours a cold cup of coffee and finds out that she needs to replace her coffee maker. Her hairdryer is at its wit's end and she needs to buy another. And she becomes claustrophobic, bumping into everything in her small apartment. She heads to her shift at the diner and then goes shopping afterwards. Everything being expensive there, she ends up just buying a few stickers. The next day, her coworker tells her that she should call in on a radio contest and she might be able to win something. When she calls, it turns out that she was the 99th caller and she won a spare no expense shopping trip. The next morning, she headed to the supermarket and started her shopping run. She purchased everything that she had in mind, but most of her friends had to leave. PJ helps her move most of the things that she wanted into her small apartment. From what we see, she purchased a new coffee machine, a new stereo system, a new mobile phone with no phone plan, a new laptop with no internet service, a new color TV with no cable, and a new DVD player with no movies. Nearing the end of the comic, it seems that Katie is mildly upset with what spontaneous fortune has done to her decision making, but at least she bought a brand new working blow dryer. Morals of the story is the best things in life come for free, and when money is on the brain, you act irresponsibly. The last comic in the collection is Parappa Gets a Job. One day, Parappa is playing video games, and he beats a game called Final Combat 6, and wants to buy the next one. He asks his dad if he can get the money for it, and his dad is a bit worried of his reckless spending, but obliges. He proceeds to talk to his wife about Parappa not contributing to the workforce, and he's not earning money for himself. Parappa overhears their conversation and nervously panics about it, but then thinks on the bright side of things, and puts the pieces together that money equals more games. And he could purchase an apartment for him and Sunny, and then have babies together. He calls Katie and asks for job recommendations, and surely enough, there's a job as a dishwasher at the diner she works at. She says the pay is good, but the job is tough. Parappa has to wake up early and arrive at the diner at 7 a.m. for work the next morning and has a rough time with the job. After a sleepy chocolate cake mishap, he decides to quit the dishwashing job and tries his luck asking Sunny for any possible jobs. She says that the Buttonnose's shop has an opening for stocking and general help. He wakes up and arrives at the Buttonnose's at 9 a.m., and he helps him stack jars of honey. Some kid decides to kick over the stack and destroy everything. Parappa yells at the kid so hard the baby cries, and then Parappa later gets removed from stocking and acquires the delivery role. First, he needs to deliver some sacks of rice to a problematic customer, a delivery to a bunch of criminal rappers, has an accidental delivery mess up, Parappa delivers artichokes to 2 prostitutes and they try to pay him in other ways. And lastly, he needed to deliver fish food to Mr. Shrimp and gets attacked by his pet blowfish. He decides to quit that job too, and he calls his last resort for jobs PJ Barry. PJ advises him to apply to a video game store next to the record shop he shops at. When he arrives at the video game store, as expected, he's a natural with selling specific games to different targets of people depending on what they're looking for. That being such as games as Blow a Groove, Doom Raider, Ultimate Destruction, and Happy Cutie Poops. At the end of the comic, the owner of the store admires Parappa's job performance and gives him all the video games he wants and all the systems. Anyways, that concludes the Rodney Fun comic collection. You can pick up a physical copy of it on the Whimsy Load website for $15.
From Parappa's on the rap, while Lammy's on the
In December of 2013, a blogspot forum called Cheap Cheap Cheap's The Name of His Soul emerged online, declaring that Dread Fox, the voice actor of Parappa, had scammed two of his fans who were making a Parappa fan animation. Apparently, he scammed them out of $100. There's a bunch of documented messages that he sent to the two boys who commissioned him for his work, and people were trying to get the boys' money back. He responded irritably and sour, making straight-up death threats and being egotistical, saying that he was in the right for calling the kid out on there not being a proper agreement. And in that way, Dread can take the money and not do the said request given to him. Dread even said that he could sue him and he'd get all the money for there not being relevant communication behind the scenes. There's been various blogs and talks about this for years and there still hasn't been proper justification, and the boy still never got his money back. Since the animation is never going through fruition and Dread always thinks so highly of himself, I can sincerely say that Dread Fox did not understand that a man must understand to keep his options open. Jammer Lammy Now was a Japan-exclusive arcade version of Jammer Lammy. Releasing roughly around the same time as the original home console game, this was simply just an arcade cabinet with a versus mode. The cabinet itself was covered in art and attention-grabbing colors, including Lammy and Rammy, Joe Chin supposedly creating the cabinet called Joe Chin Presents Super Guitar and Table System, or Table Game, depending on which model, some custom Player 1 and Player 2 tabs, and a milk can decal in the middle. Along the side of the machine, it reads Milk Can, live at the Chop Chop Master Arena. It's more often than not rumored than factually talked about, since these machines are very rare to find nowadays. Upon the release of the PlayStation Portable version of Parappa the Rapper 1 in December of 2006 in Japan, July 2007 in Europe and North America, and Australia in August 2007, there was an article posted right before the Japanese release came out saying that there was going to be no new levels, but remixes of the original stages exclusively for the PSP version. However, Sony deleted the DLC songs not too long after they uploaded them, which you could still access them today on videochums.com. You can also still find all of the videos featuring the songs on YouTube, as well as just the DLC songs in audio format. There's 4 different DLC versions of Stage 1, then 1 extra version of each stage after. I'll give you guys a preview of each one right here.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, until you find the things I'll teach ya, you're sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick,
kick,
punch,
punch,
chop,
chop,
block.
block.
Once more now.
Alright, we're here, just sitting in the car. I want you to show me if you can get far.
Working in the flea market so early. I've been working here since my mama was a baby.
Crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
M-I-X, the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X, flour into the bowl.
Kick, punch, turn, and chop the door.
Kick, punch, turn, and chop the door.
Or I will fall to the floor.
Or I will fall to the floor.
Kick.
What Tamatou meant in this iceberg concerning Lammy and Ma-san in the anime was them being subtle background characters. For Lammy, in the background of the prom episode, she could be seen dancing with a small Chop Chop Master Onion. Also, Tamatou pointed out that there's Chief Puddle and Teriyaki Yoko dancing in the background too. And for Ma-san, in episode 29, when Parappa and Matt are in computer class, Matt pulls up a website with a very strange rendition of Ma-san on it, though she looks more like a cat or something than a mouse in this instance. Back on the topic of Rodney Greenblatt, Pony Pony was one of Rodney's original characters in his art. Pony Pony was a blonde little girl who was originally going to take Parappa's place before Parappa was even a concept. The Japanese development team rejected it, and Rodney later then made the hip-hop loving cool dog we all know and love till this very day. A small fun fact pointed out by Tamatou is Parappa has a Pony Pony poster in his room, as seen on Stage 6's cutscene from Parappa 1. Within Parappa the Rapper 2, if you hold the L1 and L2, or R1 and R2 buttons, it'll decide to either skip Boxy Boy and the level cutscene. If you hold the right trigger and bumper, you go into Ninja Star mode, which gives you the option to play the level removing the specific button combos, so you can freestyle across the buttons on the controller to the beat of the notes instead. It's highly recommended for beginners if you know this little secret, so then if somebody that you know wants to play, and they're new to Parappa, then you can give them a much fairer chance. Now adding on to what I have, it seems that Tamatou didn't exactly mean what I've found. He specifically meant holding left and right as a feature present in all Parappa games, where you're about to reset all of your lines and create funny and cool replays. Also having to do with the holding left or right topic on the iceberg, we could talk about the different colored hats. The different colored hats decide which lines you get, but you can also select one of the 16 difficulties manually by pointing the right analog stick in a specific direction slightly, but not all the way.
Okay, you win.
In the Japanese release of Jammer Lammy, Rammy, an altered version of Lammy used in the Versus mode, says this quote within Stage 7 if you outscore her and defeat her.
Okay, you win. I guess I'll just go back to hell now.
In the North American release, the line is just replaced with,
Okay, you win. I guess I'll just go home now.
In Parappa the Rapper 1, during levels 1, 2, 3, and 6, you can get extra Easter eggs within the level. In Stage 1, ninjas start to appear all around the dojo and you get to see an onion dude in the background taking a shower. In Stage 2, Flea Swallow can be seen in the background trying to hitch a ride. In Stage 3, Flea Swallow swallows a fly. And in Stage 6, Chop Chop Master Onion starts to break dance on the floor if you're in cool mode. What Tamatou meant by putting wah-wah on the iceberg is that not many people know that if you press the up button with the wah effect that you can make guitar wahs, and they sound really cool. Check it out. In talks of more unused content, in the original home console release, there were sound files of Parappa playing the first stage, but the level's not accessible, only allowing you to play from Stage 2 and up. Jammer Lammy now allegedly has the Parappa version of Stage 1 from Jammer Lammy though. Among all of the footage of people playing it during the release, all I could find is regular levels from Jammer Lammy. But if you emulate Jammer Lammy on a PlayStation 1 emulator and you have Game Shark, if you enter the code 300790B4 space 0003, you can experience the half-assed Parappa version of Stage 1. All of the sprites on the stage are combined with Chop Chop Master Onion, and if you get cool mode, Parappa can only say pick no matter what button you press. Parappa on Screen was a Japanese screensaver CD-ROM disc that contained different screensavers and instrumental songs from Parappa 1 that you could use for your computer. I'm not entirely sure where it came from, or when it was released, but the closest information I could find is that the files date back to June 12, 1998, which is about a year and a half after Parappa 1's release. They're available to download it on archive.org as we speak, but I haven't installed it yet because I don't know Japanese. Parappa the Rappa 2 Remix ROM hacks is referring to the mods by Post6, Von Dotten, and Oddman, etc. Here's the example that Tamatou gave to me.
Ready? Yeah.
Chinese is a well-known Parappa the Rappa 2 gameplay video uploaded by TaskRats in 2012 in collaboration with LolDBZ. The entire 16-minute video includes the funniest snippets from the pre-existing stream. Throughout the Parappa community, it's probably the most notorious Parappa-related video on the internet. For example, Von Dotten, a popular Parappa YouTuber, underwent a Parappa 2 speedrun with a tool assist, completing a few lines in-game showing homage to the video. If you haven't seen this video yet, I highly recommend you go watch it. I'll put a link in the description so you can enjoy some really funny Parappa 2 stream highlights. Also, make sure to follow TaskRats on Twitch, going under a new name by FotsOts. I would say to follow LolDBZ too, but it seems like that they've gone radio silent on the internet since 2020. A bit sad, but TaskRats seems to be streaming till this very day.
Paula, sorry, nice to meet you and all, but we're in the middle.
Parappa the Parody was a comedy fan dub of the Parappa anime by D-Jax, released sometime in the mid-2010s. The original uploads were taken down and deleted, but you could still find the re-uploads of them uploaded on Toy Mare KO's channel on YouTube. I'll show you some of the highlights and I'll make sure to put the YouTube channel link in the description.
You all Blue's Clues ass bitch, you young ass bitch looking like Stephanie from Lazy Town and shit. Parappa, could you stop them? I don't want my girl in jail.
Can we fuck afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah! This Parappa, back together. And I'm never going down at the hands of the likes of you because I'm so much...
Parappa Puppet Pals was a short-lived puppet YouTube series made by PBC Productions. It was inspired by the Potter Puppet Pals series created by Neil C.C. Arega, also known as Lemon Demon. It only included one episode, but then was put on the shelf. Knowing just a little bit into the info of PBC Productions, I think they were associated with Little Miss Gamer and That Guy with the Glasses, which that's a whole beast to take on itself. She continued to make other content, but that was the only episode of Parappa Puppet Pals that was ever created. Maybe I'll make a video covering the current and past members of That Guy with the Glasses, but we may see. That might take a really long time. In Umjammer Lammy, there's a guitar effect called the Harmonizer. It has 4 different levels, and you can switch between them by pressing up and down. If you press all the way down to the lowest level, when Lammy plays the guitar, it sounds cursed. Apparently, in a few emulations and the PlayStation 3 version of Umjammer Lammy, your guitar will be completely silent, making the game unplayable, not having an audible cue of the buttons that you're pressing. Tamatou read somewhere that Chief Puddle in the Spanish subtitles uses a curse word in the lyrics, but it was never entirely fact-checked. I'm sorry to cut it short here, but from what you just watched, this was my final export since August of last year. I kind of stopped working on this video because I was running out of creative steam for this project. I was working on the script and managing the files for this project for about 2 years, and maybe one day I'll finally wrap up the Iceberg. Also, because of the Iceberg trend dropping off, I didn't really care too much to work on it anymore. But for now, I just decided to leave you with what I had done at least. I'm not usually one for super in-depth video projects, but I had a lot of fun working on this the past couple of years. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a sub and a like. Comment down below what you liked or what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.